Welcome to the All Central Podcast. I'm your host, Pastor Larry Kirk. I am joined today by the great theologian of our time, him and N.T. Wright, Pastor Jonathan Prothero.
Please don't do that. If you don't know who N.T. Wright is, I like the greatest theologian. Having my name aside next to him, it's just not right, people. It's not right.
It's not right. Oh, it's so good to have you, man. And you just got back from California.
Pismo Beach.
How was that?
I was 90 miles away from Oprah, where she lives.
Oh, nice. Is that how you?
That's my trivia. Right in the middle of Cali and Phoenix, Arizona.
In Phoenix, Arizona.
First time to Arizona.
Really?
What a cool place.
Yeah. Desert, man.
Cactus, desert, mountains. It's like America. Someone in America was traveling across America at one point in history and thought, yeah, the desert. Let's just live here.
Let's live here.
And so they just built a city in the middle of absolutely nowhere.
Rocks, sand, dirt.
I like the sun.
Very little grass.
Someone put a flag in the ground. There's nothing there except for scorpions and spiders.
But it was a ministry trip, right? It was a ministry trip and, with your dad, which is cool.
So me and Dad spending a week together. We saw Michael Maiden, who's going to be coming to Central. That's not going to be till 2024,
right?
Because he's booked out till end of 2025.
Yeah,
it's a coup that we got him in and scheduled. So I think around March time, we're still finalizing the exact dates. But that's awesome.
We're going to love that at Central.
Oh my gosh. I will talk more about who he is closer to the time. And then, California. Old friend from Bible college who's now running a church out there.
That's cool, man.
And he's just crushing it.
Is he your age?
He's like 3 years younger than me.
Okay.
I saw him last 4 years ago. And since I saw him, he had no kids and now he's got 4 kids.
Oh, he got busy.
I was like, dude, you need to chill out. So he adopted.
Does he know what causes that?
Yeah. I think he's figuring it out very quickly.
Wow, that's amazing, though.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm done, man. So
he's I'm done.
Running a church, 34 years old, 4 kids, like the guy is.
Yeah.
He's killing it. He's
doing a good
crushing
job.
So John Sparrow.
That's great. John Sparrow.
Killing it.
Oh.
Yeah. Him
so close to Jack Sparrow.
I know. All the time.
He gets it all the time.
From Bible college.
Of course.
Yeah, we just called him Sparrow in Bible college. It's way too easy. So no, it was a great time.
It's awesome.
But so good to be back again.
Yeah.
Hanging out with the wife and
I mean, distance makes the heart grow fonder. It does.
It does. 6 days is a long time. I was like, it was quite a long ministry trip, but no, it's just always good to be back. And what's new with you? I heard you killed it on the golf course the other day.
We did as a team. It was a team effort for sure.
Everyone was saying they were waxing lyrical about your golf skills.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a good day. It's for a great cause, Teen Challenge Golf Tournament,
and Teen Challenge for those who don't know.
Yeah, the charity we support, obviously, and it's for guys who are coming in with drug addictions and just different types of addictions at times. I mean, not just necessarily drugs, could be alcohol, could be multiple things, but a troubled past. And I mean, their success rate when it comes to getting people off drugs and getting people going in the right direction. And again, it's faith-based. It's close to like 80%.
It's amazing.
You can't,
that's so good.
The best clinics in the world can't claim 5%, 10% sometimes, but it's 80%, but it's all based on Jesus. And so we support that every year, and which is fun because you get to golf, while supporting them in that. And so
it's amazing.
We bought a lot of mulligans. That's why we did well.
At golf
tournaments, you can do that.
You can just pay for a mulligan.
Of course.
Pay for another shot.
Yeah.
It's an amazing organization though. Like I grew up in Denmark and I remember partnering with them in Denmark like 20 years ago.
It's amazing that it's international.
It's everywhere.
I didn't realize that till maybe a few years ago.
Yeah.
Because I just, we just focused on the local with that. They're
like
international.
The actual house we grew up in Denmark, when we moved out of there, they bought that house and then they used that to rehabilitate, and so they have a whole community there of
that's incredible.
ex-addicts or whatever. And, it's an amazing organization. It does a phenomenal job.
Love Teen Challenge. I mean, we love a lot of the organizations that we support.
Well, that's why we support them, right?
We are. I mean, you want to be a good steward of what people give to. And I think, I feel like we do that really well here. We're able to be, to really focus on organizations and like Teen Challenge and City Beach Dream Center downtown and the Well, a lot of our local people.
Yeah, there's so much local mission, isn't there?
There is.
That's why we do what we do.
Yeah. So that's
why
awesome.
we give what we give. And then I was listening to Scott preach as well this weekend.
Scotty did a good job, man.
What are you waiting for?
He's down for the count, though, right now. He's not feeling well.
He's out. Pray for Scotty.
Pray for Pastor Scott.
Poor guy.
I mean, you'll be hearing this probably 2 weeks from now, but he'll be fine by then.
If he's still out, please definitely pray.
If he's out, that's a whole nother bag of issues.
Right. Yeah. But no, I mean, Scott, if you didn't hear the message, I thought he just crushed it this week. Such a great question. Like, what are you waiting for in life? And he talked about like change as well, those change transitions. I liked the word disruption. We have a plan.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what Jim talked about actually the other week as well.
It was.
Like we can give God our time. We can give him our service. Well, even like if we have to, we'll give him our money. That's fine. But giving him our plans.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing, and what happens when God disrupts our plans, and I just thought it was just beautiful how those messages just seem to be weaved together.
Yeah, your dad's message.
Yeah.
On top of that,
the valley,
then Pastor Jim Wilkes, and then Scott. It's all been a theme coming through the thread of this, and so it's awesome to see how. And the funny thing is, none of us talked. Like none of the preachers, communicators talked.
Yes, yeah.
It's just the theme of this whole thing, and these guest speakers coming in, and it's been awesome to watch that happen. Like God's just really using people, and it's a timely word too for our church. Each one of those messages were timely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It made great impact.
Yeah.
Which, you want that as a pastor. You're bringing in all these different guest speakers, and then Scott had to fill in. I spoke for Reverend Tim Tootin, who's in Israel with my dad. Yeah, they're back now, but so I spoke for him on so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so Scott, you were away.
Yes.
And then Scott filled in for Central. So it's kind of, Scott got his opportunity. And he crushed it. He did a great job.
He did.
And so, but with that, he just weaved the thread. He just kind of stayed with it.
Yeah.
And it was just such a great message. One of the things, even going back to what Pastor Jim Wilkes said, I had it written down here. I wanted to discuss that even a little bit further too. He said, you don't have to pull what you have packed. I loved that statement.
Mm-hmm.
We must live a life patterned after God's design. And there's so many things when it comes to baggage in our life, and we do carry a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we realize how much we carry.
Yeah.
Over times, over seasons of our life, and that's the thing. Do we want to continue to carry that, or do I want to let some of that go and just release it into the hands of God, and Lord, here's all this baggage. Here's all this stuff that I have stuffed down in my life. How do I navigate through some of that in my heart? How do I unpack some of this stuff and just get rid of it so my baggage is not so heavy? It could be a little lighter now. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of message when it came to over the past 3 weeks, just a message of hope. What your dad spoke, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Shadows can't hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing.
Yep.
But you're in the valley
right,
still.
Exactly. Yeah. And Jim even used that Hebrews 11.
He did. Yeah.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for.
Yeah.
And I always love that analogy. Like faith is the substance.
Yeah.
And so hope is the vessel, and so it's like water is the substance of this glass, right?
Yep.
So if faith is the substance of the thing that I hope for, you have to find somewhere in your life, in the valley, in the difficult times with the baggage, you have to have a source of hope in order to fill that with faith. And sometimes I think we pour our faith on the ground because there's no real hope for where our life is right now.
Yeah.
You can be in hopeless situations or seemingly hopeless situations where it's like, I don't think my kid's ever going to come to Christ, or I don't think I'm ever going to get breakthrough with my boss, or I don't think we're ever going to repair this relationship. This marriage is just done. Yeah. And so we live in these hopeless valleys at times, and God, I think, wants to restore. It seems like that's the message for our church, doesn't it? God wants to restore hope again.
It is. It is. Stop looking. I think Jim said it like this: stop looking at the problem and look at the promise.
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
That's so good.
And it is true. Like it's so easy, isn't it, John? Like to focus on the problem all the time, like focus on the issue, the thing in it. And you just feel like you just keep digging a hole and you can never get out of that.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about the promises of God, is that we need to look at those a little bit more than our problems.
Yeah. It's true. And we've said this before on the podcast, like pain has a way of absorbing our attention. You know, if you get punched in the nose, whatever, and your nose is broken, the rest of you can be fine, but that's the focus, you know, and I think that's what happens to us emotionally or in our lives. The one issue is what we tend to focus on.
I always remember, I don't know if do you ever see the movie Major Pain?
No, I've never seen it. Like major as in my major, fist is major in pain or something
major
like that.
pain. Yeah, no, he's I'm trying to remember which actor it was.
Sounds like a rock movie.
No, it wasn't, but it could have been,
right.
I guess, back in the day. And so Major Pain's the military, obviously, and then somebody had hurt themselves. I can't remember where they hurt themselves, but then he's looking at him, like, why are you crying? I mean, right. that doesn't hurt. So he took his finger and he snapped the guy's finger, like broke it, right? And he got he said, it doesn't hurt anymore. Right? So he focused on the other pain, which, it's like, see, that doesn't hurt. That hurts now,
that's real pain.
It's like, that's real pain. But
can we do that in church? Maybe we can have a ministry of breaking fingers.
Right. Now that's what hurts now. So you got to focus off the other pain, but now you have another one. So
greater pain. Major pain. Is that like a 90s movie?
I think so. Yeah. I think it's a 90s movie.
That sounds awful. Yeah. But no, it does. It absorbs our focus. Yeah. And I've always liked the analogy, he used the analogy of our baggage.
Yeah.
I've used the analogy of like, we have wounds. So people hurt us, they cut us. And I think we can pour salt in the wound, or we can let the wound heal.
Yeah.
And how we treat the wound depends on how quickly it will heal.
Yeah.
Or if we keep picking at it, we're focusing on it and we're picking the wound that it will heal if we leave it be.
Leave it alone.
And we clean it out. And sometimes you do have to clean a few things out. You do have to excavate a little bit and mind yourself. But it will heal. And I think it's like that thing, when you hurt yourself, or if you cut yourself, you are left with the scar.
Yeah.
Like the pain goes away, but it's still a part of your story. And that's the difficult thing, is people sometimes feel like when they've messed up, well, I'll never be able to remove myself from this.
Yeah.
Well, the pain will remove itself. That'll disappear. But that will go, but there will be a scar. It will be a part of your story. It won't be removed from you entirely. In fact, your story is what makes you you.
Yeah.
And so part of that baggage is you'll let go of the baggage, but that story, that version of you will still exist. I don't know if that analogy makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it does. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we're a product of our pain.
Yeah.
And it depends on how you process it, right? Because some people don't process it well. And they just keep pointing back at their pain, and they never ever get over. And that's the thing about going through life. No one gets through life unscathed.
Yeah.
I mean, there is so much pain in life.
Yeah. It's so like nobody gets a free pass on suffering.
No one gets a free. I don't know anybody that's ever gotten a free pass on pain. And that goes from your relational letdowns to people that's hurt you intentionally or unintentionally. It goes from there. It goes from injuries. It goes, you've been through a sickness or some kind of disease or something that you've battled with. Hair loss, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding.
Every month, I'm like, oh boy,
come on, Rogaine.
If only it worked. I tried it for about 3 months. I'm like, this is snake oil, isn't it?
Snake oil. It's not helping me a bit.
Not at all. It's like this is the worst $30 I've ever spent. Anyway.
Right. Anyway, we digress. No, but you don't come out of. You can either come out of it just, depressed and beaten, or you can look at it as just God there's obstacles, but now there's great opportunity in this, that God's developing something in you. And I think it just goes back to the thought of, God uses these moments in our life to develop something. The greatest story, we love. You love this story too, but Joseph in the Bible. That's just from the pit to the palace is like, that sounds so wonderful and cliche, but there was so much pain involved in that, and betrayal.
And years of it.
Yeah. Not just like, a month or two. And he, no, this was years. This was over a decade, I believe, right?
Yeah, 15 or so years. I mean, year after year after year. And how does your faith not wane with God in that time? Like when you've gone from, a servant, and then it gets worse when you do the right thing and you go to the prison. You can get frustrated with God going, I'm doing what I need to do. I'm doing the right thing.
And then
it's
the
getting
cupbearer
worse.
just like leaves you there.
He forgets about you.
Hey, don't forget about me. What does he do? He forgets about it.
I just saved your life. Just remember me. It's my one request.
Just one thing.
Yeah. Years later. Thanks.
You talk about somebody that would have bad relational
baggage.
Yeah.
Like if he had a right to be bitter.
He had the right to be bitter.
Every right under the sun.
Absolutely.
To his brothers, the people who should have trusted and loved him the most. Cupbearer, people whose lives he's saved against Potiphar. I've served you. I built your house up. I didn't touch your wife. And now this is how you're going to treat me. I mean, and you hear that language from lots of people. They're like Joseph, but they chose the bitter route.
The bitter route.
Instead of the better route. And it's a cliche, isn't it? You can either become bitter or become better.
I know, but
it's true.
It's true.
It just right. It's just how it works.
That's right. It's true.
And you choose which route, which path you get to take. And some people, they choose the bitter route, and it's always so sad. You see them stuck in their past, and those are the people who've got like their baggage. And my father did this to me when I was young, and my mother treated me this way, and my boss, abused me in this way, and it's just like baggage after baggage. All of it's true. They're all scars. They're all a part of your story, but right now they're not scars. They're wounds that you just keep picking at. You haven't let them heal.
Everybody's going to have those three things that Jesus had: a wilderness, a garden, and a cross.
Yeah. I remember that message you preached. It was great. Wilderness, garden, and a cross.
Which one do you want to? One of those areas is either going to catch you and you just stay in that, or you're just going to get better from it,
right?
Because adversity is the way.
Yeah.
It's going to develop the character. And in those moments in wilderness, it's for us to trust God. In the garden, that's the moment of obedience. Not my will, but your will be done. And the cross is, man, that really teaches us how to forgive others.
Yeah, for sure. There's an interesting thing here that Scott pulled up as well on this idea of change or disruption.
Yeah.
Something happens in your life and somebody hurts you, and that changes things. But there's another kind of change that's a positive change but still hurts you.
Yeah.
So for example, Scott was talking about, his kids graduating. And so there's a sense of like, oh, my 7-year-old boy is no longer 7. He's now a 19-year-old going off to college.
Yeah.
And so I've lost a season of life because there's change, but it's the kind of change I want to happen. I want him to grow and to mature and to find his own feet, but I've also lost something.
Yeah.
I guess when your kid graduates from kindergarten into school and it's like, you want all of that to happen, but my kid is no longer there in that space. I no longer have a child there.
They didn't have graduation for me back in the day.
Yeah, what's that? Graduating kindergarten.
I'm graduating.
Get a diploma, don't you?
Seriously, guys, really? Are we doing this?
Everyone gets a medal.
Yeah.
Oh, well done for aging.
Are we doing this? It's like my sister-in-law. I was taking her to the airport this morning, and she says, "Oh, look, I got a badge on my because she read, the Bible app gives you like reading.
Oh, so if you've read a book, you get like a sticker or something.
Yeah,
like a badge
yeah,
sticker.
you get like a badge or whatever. Like this thing popped up. I was like, oh, Stella, that's not for you. You're older. That's for the millennials. They need a badge.
They need
constant affirmation.
Well done. You read your
job.
Bible today.
You read a verse in the Bible.
I'll tell you what, that made me feel great.
Right?
Little ding.
Right? Little ding.
Yeah, well done.
It was hilarious. We got to laughing about it. We were
you.
joking, of course, but we were just laughing about it. It was funny.
AI app.
It's good,
but But this idea of like you get a promotion, but then you have to leave your old job. And there's actually like a grief and a baggage that sometimes we don't grieve in the good disruption.
Yeah.
So there's bad things that happen. We get the diagnosis, medical diagnosis, and everything's going wrong.
Yeah.
But then there's the good thing that happens. You're having a kid. And so you're no longer a bachelor or a single, you know, a house with no kids. And it's the good move forward. But it's still a loss. And I found some people even carry the baggage from good things happening to them about their life gone in the past. And so we're not very good as Westerners at grieving. Generally speaking, we suck at it.
Yeah, we're not good at it at all.
Just be happy. Yeah. They're in a better place. Like, don't be sad. And I get that. Okay, yeah. But there's also like Jesus wept.
Yep.
Jesus grieved over his friend Lazarus. So if Jesus had the permission to weep over losing a friend, can we give each other permission as well to weep over loss? Yeah. Because although we know somewhere up here we all go to a better place, there's still a loss. I'm no longer with this person.
Yeah, I got to be more empathetic to that.
Yeah.
I'm just not good with that.
That's
with
your
people.
growth area, is it?
Yeah, that's my growth area. Well, I'm empathetic, but not, you know, to certain things, but not like, you know, with the loss that you're talking about. I'm not talking about the loss of a loved one. I'm not talking about that at all.
Sure.
I'm very empathetic over that.
Yeah.
But as far as just like the loss of that, moving that next step forward.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Pearl and I, you know, as you know, Bryson's out on his own, and then Garrett's getting out on his own.
Right.
And so that's the process. Like for Pearl, like she said the other day to me, she said, "What are we gonna do?" I'm like,
we're gonna have to talk to each other.
I said, we're gonna save a lot of money. That's what we're gonna do.
We're gonna have so much of it.
We're gonna have so much money coming out our ears now. You know, the boys are
eating their way through your life savings.
They eat, and they start on the refrigerator. They're like eating the handles off the refrigerator and stuff. They're so hungry. So we're gonna save a lot of money. But it is giving, like, for that space for people. Like, people go through so much in life.
Yeah. It's just a change. And any form of change is a form of loss.
Yeah.
Because something
good or bad.
Yeah. And we have to navigate that. Like, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but we recently employed Ryan and Sam on staff, youth pastor, worship. They're incredible. Amazing couple. They're crushing it. And I just said to Ryan, like, just go slow. Like, you may not even know this, but you've just experienced trauma. Like, the place that you lived, you've left your friends, you've left your familiarity, you left your job, you left your house, you left your state, you've left all of your connections.
Family's not as close anymore.
Close anymore. You've just uprooted, you yanked the tree out of its roots in the ground, and then you stuck it down. It just needs a second to recalibrate.
Breathe,
and that's a breathe. Yeah.
Breathe.
Because he's great. He's like gung ho, and we can do this and do that. And
it's so like, Samantha. She's the same way.
Oh yeah.
Just gung ho.
Totally. And it's exactly what you want. And I think we do that in life. We're just the next thing, you know. And it's like, can we just take a second just to process?
Yeah.
Let me just take a deep breath. Let me figure this out for a second. I think that's kind of what Jesus gets at with prayer. You know, don't pray for a long time, Jesus says, but just take a second to breathe, become aware of God. This is hallowed ground. Yeah. This is a moment. This is a space, and this is a new season in life. Yeah. And we suck at grieving.
Yeah, we do.
Have you ever heard somebody like, there'll be a funeral where they've lost somebody they loved, and they're apologizing for, I'm so sorry. You know, they'll be crying and apologizing.
Yeah, they do.
For being upset.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you apologizing? What are you upset? Like, just let it out. That's what we're here for. Just to let whatever's in there out. This is your moment, you know. Don't apologize. Don't hold it in. And so change and disruption is beautiful. It's needed. God will do it. You can either do it by choice or do it by design or by, what's the other word?
I need a cold tub because I want to do it on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
It's the much better way.
Yeah. I just need to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
If you don't do it, God will do it for you.
God will do it for you. Yeah.
And usually much more abruptly as well.
A lot more pain too, I think. Yeah. I feel like it is anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. I sat down with Dad the other day and we were chatting. And he was talking to somebody, and there was an awkward conversation that this somebody had to have with another person.
Sure.
And she was just saying, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And Dad just looked at her and said, you don't have to do it. But just know that the pain of not doing it will be greater than the pain of doing it.
I agree.
So choose your pain.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We get to pick our pain.
Yeah.
But we do have to go through something.
Well, it's hard when you have to have, over the years, I'm not talking about the initial staff I have right now, but there's hard conversations you have to have with certain staff members, and then but that's painful, to have that initial conversation about something.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't work out, then you have to let them go. All of that, and there's the pain of that. But if you don't deal with it there, the repercussions down the road are greater.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it affects so many more people.
Exactly.
Not just that couple.
Yeah, it just begins to bleed out,
right,
doesn't
it? Bleeds out.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you either deal with it now and just suck it up, buttercup, and just, let's do this.
Right.
Or, later on it's going to be much more pain involved in it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite phrases I've learned in America. Suck it up, buttercup.
Suck it up, buttercup.
That's definitely not from the UK.
No,
rub some dirt in it.
Yeah, rub some dirt in it. Yeah.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
You'll
be fine. Suck it up, buttercup.
Right. But I love this concept of change. I don't know, maybe I've picked up on change but that seems to be the theme of whether you're in the valley or whether you're holding on to baggage or whether you're waiting for something. These three different messages. This notion of there's transition and change that happens in our life, and it's always ongoing. But we can trust God to be a part of
all of it.
Exactly. In every change, in every area of my life, valleys, peaks.
Yes, I think sometimes you feel abandoned, in it.
Yeah.
When you're going through it, you feel like, okay, God, where are you? But well, He is there.
Yeah.
You're just focusing more on the pain than the promise of Him saying that He's there with you through it all.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's that's another Western issue, problem for us that we want, again, the bright sunny days. Right.
Yeah. And we're pathetic, aren't we? I tell you what we have mastered in Western culture is avoiding displeasure and discomfort.
No doubt.
So we're actually perfecting it.
Oh yeah.
As a Western culture. And so that's why pain and suffering is so abrupt to us.
Yeah.
Because most of us can't even get outside and go for a jog. It's just too much pain.
Too much pain in it.
Too much discomfort to get to the gym.
Yeah.
Let alone actually suffer something real life challenging.
Yeah.
And so as soon as that happens, we're just not very well equipped to deal with it very well. I find that with people, and we wilt quite quickly. And I'm talking about myself as well.
Same.
Like I have to
here.
grow some thicker skin and some backbone in this. And that I think is what God's trying to do with a lot of us. I think that's what He's trying to do with Joseph is knock the ego out and build something
pride,
of substance.
ego.
Yeah, pride, because Joseph
Because it was going to be easy for him, right? In his brain.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you share a dream that your brother's going to bow down to you with your brothers,
I saw you all bowing down to me.
Can you see it? Right, like and the brother's like, what?
I'll punch you in the face. That's what's going to happen.
That's exactly w's going to happen. I want to tap you out right now. That's, I mean, that's, anytime you think that he's, it's easy street.
Yeah.
And it was,
Is that when you have to watch out when it's easy street? Is that what you've discovered in your life? Like, this is going to be great.
And this is not great. This is not a good idea.
Does that make you a cynic though when good things are happening? Like, oh boy, when's the bad thing? When's it all going to fall apart?
It does. I think I said that to your dad recently.
Really?
I was like, man, there's so many good things happening at Central, like groups and just different things, different. I was like, man, we're such a good spot. Just waiting.
What's the
catch?
Yeah, where's the
snake?
Know
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oh man,
that's what it feels like sometimes, though. It's so true. And I just said that to your dad.
That's funny.
Eating chicken and waffles with him.
I love that you remembered exactly what you were eating.
Oh yeah, man.
Is that because the day before I ordered chicken and waffles and you were watching me eat it?
I think so. Because I met him at the Iron Rooster.
Chicken and waffles is another American thing, man.
It's so
God
good,
bless.
God bless.
Like you get the waffle, and then the syrup, which is sweet, and you get the salty chicken, and if it's a little bit spicy, you got umami. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
I don't know. Chicken and waffles.
The Bible.
No. I was just making mention of that. Like it feels like something else is going to, like, okay, you're just waiting for it to something not good to happen, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's good or bad. Like I don't know. I just, I guess it just keeps you on your toes. You know, they always say, what's the saying? How they say this? You're either, exiting a problem, or you're entering into a problem, or you're right in the middle of the problem. Right.
I've never
so
heard that.
you always feel like it, like
Right.
it's one, you know, you're entering into a trial,
Right.
you know, you're getting ready to, which nobody wants to hear that. Right.
Yeah.
And then you're either in the middle of the trial or you're exiting a trial.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's a cycle, right? So you're getting out of one just to go into another one.
Right.
Right.
It's so true. I think what's another whole aspect to this as well, sort of off the back of what you were talking about, exiting and leaving or coming into trials, is so often we talk about discomfort as being the catalyst, obviously, for growth and for capacity increase. And of course, God uses all of those things.
Exactly.
God uses the pain in your life, which is true. Sometimes that gets so over-preached in church that we think if we're not in discomfort, then somehow we're not in God's design or plan for our life.
Totally agree with that.
And I think at times I've sabotaged my own comfort and chased discomfort out of season simply because I had this notion of suffering is somehow the higher ethic, or suffering is somehow more in tune with God's plan for my life. And
I totally agree.
Right. And just one more thought before you jump on.
Go.
But just that idea of, hold on, if life is good, let me just take a second to enjoy this moment, like to be present.
Why can't I do that?
Like I heard this the other day, and this is one of those cheesy TikTok reels on Instagram, whatever, and whatever, you say what you want. But I actually thought this was brilliant. He said that stress is the worst use of your imagination. The best use of your imagination is creativity. And I thought that's so true. Even when we're in good spaces, we use our imagination to stress us out and to worry us out about the next problem we're going to have without just enjoying the green pastures. Because we know God's going to bring us into the next thing, but we don't have to run at it head first. We just have to be open and ready for it.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts on that. I don't know what you think.
That's a great statement.
But being able to be comfortable.
No, I think over time, I think you know, when you read in scripture too, it's like, okay, somehow there had to be enjoyable moments with Jesus. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like there had to be somewhere you guys were joking, messing around,
meals together,
like, you know,
on the road.
Yeah. I mean, you had to be goofing off sometime or another, you know, in there. And enjoying life together, you know, enjoying moments and spaces like that with the Lord and family and friends and all that. I just think, you know, anytime you read scripture though, it's like, you know, how did Jesus learn, you know, obedience? Well, he learned it through suffering. So I guess we're going to have to do the same thing. So it's easy, like you were saying, it's easy to go that way all the time. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's easy to go. It's still true.
Right.
It's still true. You're going to go through hardships. You're going to go through trials. James talks about that, you know, consider it pure joy. I think it's James 1:2 or something like that. Yeah. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you go through trials of various kinds, because it's going to develop perseverance. Perseverance develops character, and character develops, you know,
patience, and
all that. It's beautiful stuff. It's great. But, you know, in moments where that's where I need to do better. You know, I need to enjoy that. That space, that moment. You know, Pearl and I are getting ready to go to New Zealand and Australia.
So
jealous.
So jealous.
Yeah.
Dude, if you don't know, I'm looking at you in the camera right now. New Zealand is so beautiful.
We just can't wait.
And like, if you haven't got a passport, go get yourself a passport.
Yeah, and
go book a trip. And dude, I'm so stoked for you and Pearl. Like, if any two people deserve it, it's you two.
No, I appreciate that.
Just going to brag it. And if you don't think they deserve it, you better have some comments right now saying how much they deserve it. Like right now.
No,
I'm stoked.
We're just so blessed to do it. Shane really just it's been a blessing in it and setting it all up. Yeah. And so I get to preach at a couple churches and ones on the Gold Coast in Australia. So I'll be at the Gold Coast. You know,
just sounds beautiful, doesn't it?
I mean,
the Gold Coast.
I mean, come on,
it's going to be great.
I mean, Gold Coast, but
to take that season,
but to enjoy it,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, you've just come out of having kids.
Not catastrophize it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Catastrophize it.
You've come out of the trial of raising Garrett.
Yeah.
And
Bryson.
And raising Bryson. Trials and tribulations have abounded.
Let's actually enjoy this.
But that's it. What if you could view this season of comfort not as something that will lead on forever, but as actually God's gift, God saying thank you for what you have endured. I'm just for a season. Let me bless on you and love on you just for a second.
Yeah.
And we'll move on to the growth thing in just a second. And giving yourself permission just to go, you know what? Life's also about enjoyment. Yeah. It's not just about suffering. In Revelations, there will be no more weeping. There will be no more sickness, no more pain. Like that's where it's all leading to anyway.
Yeah. And enjoy that moment, because you'll never do that moment again, probably. Right, so it's just enjoying that space, enjoying that moment with your spouse, and I need to do that better. I have to say that. That's
we all do.
I need to do it better. I need to celebrate better,
relax better,
relax better for sure. Oh gosh, I'm so stressed out all the time. I do it to myself though.
Yeah,
it's just I'm hardwired that way a little bit too. So I don't want to give myself too much of a pass on. I need to do better, but some of that's just the way I'm wired.
I think it's cultural hardwiring as well.
True.
We've talked about this before on the podcast. I do think as great and amazing as America is, they're so industrious here in America, but you do value work and production above almost anything else.
Yeah.
And so if I'm not producing, then I'm not of value.
That's right.
Is the undertone, is the undercurrent there.
Such an undercurrent.
And so who am I if I'm not producing anything? Well, you still have same value. Yeah. Nothing's actually changed in terms of your intrinsic value.
That's right.
And that's a real cultural lesson, I think, that has to be learned, particularly in sort of an industrious kind of area like this, where if I produce more, then I'm worth more.
Yeah.
And so, just taking a step back and going, actually, none of my worth or value comes from anything I produce. I'm just doing that because I have a calling or I enjoy it or, that's my gift. And so it's a very different way of coming at it rather than I have to do it to find affirmation or to find value in society.
Yeah. No, it's so good, man. Sharing that. I mean, that's because again, I think again, I don't want to, how do we say this? I don't want to be, someone who doesn't enjoy life.
Right. Yeah.
Just has to feel like I have to be on all the time.
Of course. Yeah. Me too.
And so I think I need to do that better is what I'm saying. I think it's just, and it's just a generational thing too. I think my generation, is kind of wired that way a little bit because we just came right behind the boomers. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And so,
and I think as much as your generation looks down on millennials, I think millennials' reaction to work was seeing overworked. And no the doubt. Fruit of being overworked and going, actually, I don't really want that, probably took it too far the other way. And so millennials, I think, enjoy relaxing a little bit too much. I know so many millennials, they simply cannot hack a normal 40-hour work week. Yeah. It's too much for them. Yeah. The anxiety goes through the roof. They don't think that's what life is. And of course, I'm totally generalizing here. There's phenomenally hard workers in my generation.
Oh yeah, we have one on staff.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable.
He's sitting behind us right now.
Sitting behind us, right? Yeah, he's somewhere in the room, I think.
Or if not, he's probably doing 5 other jobs while he's meant to be doing this one.
He's doing this one and 5 other things.
Right.
Yeah.
So of course you get hard workers, but as a whole, stepping back, just understanding your utility is not your only value.
Yeah.
And so it's that's great. So I think that all those things when it comes to change, we really talked quite a lot about change, didn't we, today? Like we go through bad change, we go through positive change, and in and out of season, just learning to find God's rhythm, God's flow, staying connected in any season.
So what would you say to someone, that, has a hard time, enjoying that season, when there is good moments in their life, and what would you say to someone? How do we move that because there's so much change all the time in our life. There's always constant change, and we try to barrel through things, and we just don't. Again, we plow through things. We try to work through stuff and work through our issues. Work through work. With that thought in mind, because again, that's where our value is. It's what you talked about. What would you say to someone that's tried to barrel through everything and just not enjoying life? There's people that don't enjoy life.
Yeah. I actually have two things. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this as well. I have two things. One is a mantra and one is a Jewish proverb. That the Jewish proverb, which is in the Talmud, says that God will hold you to account on the day of judgment for all the permissible things you could have enjoyed but chose not to. So you'll be judged for all the things that you could have participated in, for the party that you could have attended with your friends where they were having dinner together, but you chose not to join in. Yeah, think of the prodigal son and the brother, like Scott talked about this weekend, the brother who chose not to enter into the party and celebration with his brother. You will be judged for those things as well, for not participating in the enjoyment of life. And I think that should be a pressure valve release for you, that I'm allowed to experience pleasure and joy, that God wants that for my life as well as wanting to grow me in the difficult times. So that's one proverb I often come back to. And I also say this, here's a mantra that I have written down actually in a couple of journeys. And it's 2 lines. One is when I'm on the peak and I think I'm crushing it, and I think my ego's getting a bit too big and like the world needs me and, yada, yada. I have this one line written down. I was made from the dust. And it's just a humbling line. Yeah. So when I'm on the peak, I was made from the dust. And when I'm in the valley, the next line is the universe was created for me or for us. And so think of the entire expanse of the universe with literally nothing in it other than us, at least what we've discovered so far. I know some people want us to do a podcast on UFOs. So
I know. Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to do that at some point. But without getting into all of that, maybe.
Unless we have Elon Musk on there.
Yeah, well, that would be fun. Yeah, okay. So where was I going with that? Anyway, on the peak, when your ego's getting a bit high, just remember you were made from dust. Like you're nothing more than dust, and to dust you will return. Yeah. You came into this world with nothing, you'll leave with nothing. Yeah. You were naked coming in, you were naked going out, as Job says. So it brings the ego down. And when I'm really low, I have to remember that the universe was created for my enjoyment and for my pleasure and for my discovery and curiosity and inquisitive nature. And God wants us to participate in the ongoing creation of this universe. Yeah. And so those are 2 things that I tell people. They're kind of a reminder to stay more balanced. Yeah. And somewhere in that middle to enjoy life, but also not to get too big-headed and too comfortable as well, but also not to beat myself up. So those might be 2 mantras. You write them up, stick them on your mirror, put them on your fridge, put them on whatever, your car inside door or something like that. It's just constant reminders. I've found they've helped check and balance me a little bit.
That's good, man. That's really good. Look at you.
Very profound, eh?
What and N.T. Wright. Come on.
Please stop. N.T. Wright. Oh my gosh, he's so good. And books by N.T. Wright you have to read. Yeah. What's the one on hope? Surprised by Hope. Yeah. That's that's the greatest book ever.
Ever.
It will change the way you think about the resurrection, atonement theory, why Jesus died. I mean, phenomenal. And he has some follow-up books on that as well. He's written a book that I'm only about a third of the way through called Paul, and he does a whole biography. N.T. Wright, by the way, is probably the greatest New Testament theologian alive today.
No question. Yeah.
Right? And then there's me.
No question. And Shane.
Shane. But he's a New Testament. So when he writes a book about Paul this thick, and it's so accessible, and I'm going way off topic here, but you keep bringing it up into right. So go buy those 2 books and, enjoy those.
Yeah, enjoy them.
But what do you say to people? Maybe we could finish off the podcast. People who are trying to enjoy life, or what do you tell yourself? What do you feel like is the new mantra for yourself to Larry? You're allowed to enjoy this moment in the garden here.
Yeah, I just tell myself I'm the boss, and I'm the boss of my own life. Right. Like I can tell myself what to do and what not to do, and if if other factors involved around me are trying to tell me something different, I don't have to do that. Yeah, I don't have to work myself to death. Thinking that that's going to bring some type of value in my life. I'm the boss of my own life. Lord, is this you? Is this me?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I got a pretty good handle on God awareness in my life. So feeling the Holy Spirit working in my life in a certain area. Am I doing too much in this area, or am I not? And what do I need to do here, Lord? What is it, you know, to enjoy this moment? I'm trying to create those moments, right? I'm trying to create. So that's why I try to create a moment with your dad, with Shane and you.
Yeah.
Because I know that's going to be enjoyable. We're going to do some work in there, but we're going to have so much fun.
So much fun. Right?
Fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just think, how can I make that happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
How can I create that? Yeah. You know, this, again, the New Zealand trip and an Australia trip, like, okay, this is just the trip of a lifetime for her and I.
Right.
Like, this is a bucket list thing for us.
It's so good.
You know,
yeah,
and we're like, so this is like, I am going to enjoy, like, I'm not going to worry about the church while I'm gone.
Right.
Everything's going to be fine. Jonathan's not going to burn it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to be, you know what I'm saying? So there's trust there, right?
Yeah.
So I got to trust. There's trust in that.
Is there trust?
There is. There really is. There's trust there. Trust factor. And so I think it's just, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm making sense.
No. Well, what I heard there, I mean, aside from all that, is you've pre-decided.
Yeah.
It's like going. You're not going to like get there and be like, oh, I should relax now. There's like a premeditated, I know this is what I'm going to do, and there's a plan, there's a thought, and you've almost imagined it. You know, I imagine being there now and being okay with being there and relaxing.
Yes.
So there's like a premeditated, pre-decided thought that's gone into that. Yeah. That's hugely important as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It brings your stress level down.
Yeah.
Like you're just, okay, everything's going to be fine.
Well, you've pre-decided.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah. I'll try. People, together, we will not burn this church down.
You, Scott, buddy, you know,
work with me.
Oh, you guys. No, I mean, it's
great.
just, I think it's just trusting, and then trusting that, you know what? Listen, I go back to what you said earlier, the speck of dust thing.
Yeah.
It moves on with you or without you.
Dude, you're like, here.
It's
for this long.
Yeah.
Like all those millions of people that have ever existed that you've never thought about once.
Right.
They had just as many hopes and dreams and imaginations and worries and anxieties. Like, you are a speck of dust.
I said something to someone the other day. I said, why don't you just take off work? Like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can. I'm like, work will be okay without you.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's one day.
Yeah.
Enjoy that day.
Right.
You know,
you're not so important that
no,
work can't survive without you for one day, for 8 hours.
I have come to that conclusion in my own life.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay.
Yeah, because you're made from the dust.
I love that statement.
Yeah.
I might have to write that down myself.
Yeah, you know,
it's good.
I stole it, but
okay, but whatever.
Yeah,
we'll take it. We'll still use it.
It's mine now. After I said it 3 or 4 times, it becomes mine.
It does, for sure.
What a great podcast!
Yeah, no, this is good, man. This was awesome.
And then, like, we have coming up, like, next podcast, you will see there's going to be 4 of us in the room.
Oh man,
we've got me, you, Peter Prothero, aka Dad, Shane Willard, the 4 of us just tearing it up. And then we'll probably try and record a bulk. So for the next little season after this, you'll be getting us 4.
You guys are going to love it. It's going to be incredible, probably leadership moments, but also just some in-depth stuff that we'll deep dive into. And Jonathan and I will probably be the quietest ones on the podcast because we'll let the brilliant people talk and
pretending to look smart.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's going to be really awesome. Thanks, John, for bringing that up. It's going to be an incredible string of podcasts. So listen, hit the like button. Share this with others. Our podcast keeps growing. Yep. As a matter of fact, the other day, Shane told me he got off the plane and met someone, and they said, man, that Off Central podcast is awesome. That is incredible, Shane. And Shane's like, it took Shane back, like what?
Who is this?
Who's the Off Central podcast? Like, it just didn't click.
That's great.
Right? And so this guy was in California saying this to Shane.
That's great.
And then, you know, because he's listening, she follows Shane. But now he's like, nah, man, I just continue to listen. These guys are awesome.
Right.
So, you know, there's people that are joining in. So share this. this content if you love it.
Helps us get the message out there.
It does.
Every time you like, the algorithm sends it to more people. Yeah. So like, comment, and that just helps us spread great news to people.
Yeah. Amen. So thanks, Jonathan, for joining today.
Thank you.
It's really awesome, and hope that in some way today this enriched your life.